Hello, fellow traders. Nutty Bar Trading coming to you on a Saturday. It is August the 12th, and this is just a weekly summary report of my streaming, I guess. But basically, today, this is just going to be the weekly review of our new strategy that I'm testing. This is based off support and resistance zones, and then using a footprint chart to basically our entry triggers are triggered from trapped orders. I'm not going to go in detail explaining the setup and my entries exactly, but basically that's the gist of it: is the support and resistance. Some call it supply and demand. I don't know, whatever. I call it support and resistance, and that's where my entries are. And we currently are trading it with 4 mini contracts with an ATM strategy where we take profit at 30 ticks on 3 of those contracts, and then we have a runner. And that's primarily what we're going to focus on, that runner today. Talk a little bit about what we're currently seeing with that and any changes we might make to that going forward. But obviously to this week, if we look at this week, we had a really bad Monday. So we started this strategy on Friday. Last Friday wasn't a terrible day. But one thing we noticed was almost immediately noticed was going against the trend was just not my cup of tea. I just did not like going against the trend with this setup. In the back testing, it did show that overall I had a really low win rate, but then I had a couple really big wins. So, but for me, that's not how I like to trade against the trend. So, and this is primarily what happened on this day. We went against the trend and got destroyed. So after this day, from here, the last 4 days, we changed the strategy to where we were only trading with the trend, and we definitely had a lot better results. And I just like the setups and the entries and how the trades are, just like it a lot better as well. So we'll definitely be continuing to do that going forward. On average, one thing that we're tracking with this is how many trades, how many setups am I getting per day. I'd say right now on average, Friday's stream was only half of a day, but the most we had was 10 trades on Thursday, and then we had 7 trades on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we had 9 trades on Monday. But Monday I'm almost not really counting because that was when we were going against the trend on a lot of our setups. And one thing I want to look at here is if I go, so I created a playbook for this setup, S&P with trapped order strategy. So when we click on this and we go on our rules, this shows kind of the rules for it. But then here we can track the market condition when we entered the trade. So you can see here what I'm talking about. When the trade was counter trend, we had only a 10% win rate, and we have almost $7,000 loss when we're going against the trend. So it's pretty easy to see we don't want to do that. But when trade was going with the trend, we have a 67% win rate, 1.45 profit factor, $3,600 profit currently. So definitely something that, we want to continue testing, is only going with the trend. So I wanted to show that, just kind of obviously right now, collecting data is like the most important aspect of this, is collecting the data. So what I want to talk about a little bit, the biggest thing right now with this strategy is the runner. So with the runner, and again, this is just me keeping track and writing down, everything that we need to know. Basically, our runners, we take profit at the next support and resistance area or zone. And our stop loss currently on our profit target on our runner, we do not move our stop loss, which means we usually have around a 30 tick stop loss, which means, we can be, if our profit target, like Friday, I think it was, no, it was Thursday, we had a trade. Our profit target was like 240 ticks away. So we had a 240 tick profit target factor. And then we had a stop loss of 30 ticks. We were like 110 ticks in profit. And it went away, it ended up going against us and stopping us out for a 30 tick loss. So obviously that's not ideal. So what I'm trying to look at is, okay, what makes sense? Should we have kind of a trailing stop? And if we do, what kind of trailing stop do we do? And just did a little bit of math. So far, every time that I get stopped out on my runner, I make note of that runner, how much it was in profit. Basically, the most it was in profit at one point. Just so we can, I don't know, I need that data to, adjust. And we've had a total of 11 runners get stopped out. So we've had 11 trades that get stopped out. And I know that's not enough to really, it's a very, very small sample size of this. So I want to keep that in mind. But we've had 11, and we've had a total of 705 ticks that technically we were in profit and ended up being stopped out for a loss of around $150. So, that is a pretty big difference. Now, on average, we, and then if I look at the other side of it, when we have had runners that hit the profit target, we've actually had 800 ticks captured with allowing that runner to run. Now, only 2 of those trades would have actually stopped me out had I moved my stop to break even. So that was kind of shocking to me. So I could have moved my stop to break even, and that is after being in profit at 50 ticks. So right now, that was kind of the sweet spot was, hey, after I'm 50 ticks in profit, move my stop to break even. And then every 50 ticks of profit, I move my stop 50 ticks. Basically a trailing stop of 50 ticks on that runner. So that's something I'm kind of considering. But I also feel like I almost need a little bit more data yet. Also trying to back test it as well and running the different scenarios. So that's kind of my main focus right now is on that runner and how we do that in this ATM strategy setup. So I need to refine that and just, I'm not quite sure yet if we're going to do that next week. The other thing, that I don't really want to make a change here. So the other issue we've had with this strategy is trading NQ. Trading NQ has been challenging. Not that we haven't had good setups. I feel like we have. And especially the last 3 days, now it's going a lot better. Since we're trading with the trend, it's going a lot better. But with NQ, we have, I think, 4 different times, if I'm keeping track correctly, 4 different times where we have missed a setup because NQ was just moving so fast. NQ price action can sometimes be very volatile and it can move really, really fast. So because of that, we've missed 4 different setups. And all 4 of them actually would have been winners, of course. So that's kind of an issue, and really considering switching to ES because of that reason. Feel like the market moves a little bit slower, and I'll be able to get my entries in a lot more consistently with ES. And I did back test ES, and this strategy definitely works with ES as well. Very similar results. So I I think we will, starting Monday, we're going to move to ES, because ultimately, if I do end up using this strategy, and again, this is in the very early stages, we don't even know if it's, something we're going to use in a live or a fund on our funded accounts. But I, I'm, I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't, like, I'm struggling a little bit switching to ES, just because the last, since we've been trading with the trend with this, it actually has had pretty good results. So I'm a little bit hesitant to switch to ES now, and not giving this a little bit more of a shot. I had kind of said we're going to move to ES on Monday, and I'm honestly not quite sure yet. I almost want to give this another week on NQ, give it another shot on NQ for another week, just to collect more data. And the thing is, I know we are missing setups because the price is moving really fast. That's kind of the biggest issue. But the setups we're catching, I mean, they are also working. So I don't even want to say it right now. As of right now, I'm not 100% sure. You can probably hear it. So I guess we'll see if we switch to ES on Monday or not, or we give NQ another week. I guess stay tuned. But other than that, just trying to determine the ATM strategy. It looks right now like the best thing to do is, once we're 50 ticks in profit, then we move our stop to break even. And then once we would be 100 ticks in profit, we would move our stop to our first profit target, which would be 30 ticks. And then I think, we would just trail it by 50 ticks. Every 50 ticks, we would trail it. So I have to set up that ATM strategy and refine that, make sure that everything is working, test that. But right now, that's kind of what it looks like with the data that we have. That would be the best solution for our runner. And obviously, the other thing that you could do was, just not have a runner and take the full profit at the 30 ticks. It's actually kind of funny. So doing the testing on that, if we would, in this past week or 6 days, we've tested this strategy. If we just take our full profit at 30 ticks, we would be about $1,800 ahead, is what it comes out to. So, I kind of look at that, and it's not enough data to make a decision really, but it's interesting. And I like the thought of a runner, though. I really like the thought of a runner, and we're going to really try and make that runner work. I think we just have to refine that ATM strategy and that trailing strategy. That's the important thing that we have to figure out right now, or that I have to figure out. I don't know why I keep saying we, but anyway. Okay, I think that was it for the week. I'm going to show my Rhythmic account balances, even though there's really nothing to see. But I always try to do that every week. Obviously, right now, we are not trading our funded accounts. We currently have 14 funded accounts. All 14 accounts are above the $50,000 threshold. You can see we have a couple fresh ones. This is the account we're trading this strategy on, and that's the main focus, is just on this strategy. But overall, just my overall thoughts on the strategy is, I know it's still early, but I really like it. Actually, it's really helpful for me mentally to have a very clear and concise entry triggers. So when this, and this happens, I enter. That's just the way it is. I don't second guess myself. There's no discretionary part of it. It's just I take every setup. And there's a part of that that is really helpful with second guessing and then trying. It's almost like I struggle sometimes with trying to predict what the market will do. And I know that's not our job, but yeah, actually, one thing I wanted to change here, just show this week. I mean, not that it really matters, but basically this was our week. If we just look at a week right now, and again, we had that huge loss on Monday, and that was primarily we traded against the trend. I think we traded against the trend on 6 of these trades were against the trend, and they were all losses. So that's kind of when we're like, okay, let's stop doing that. So anyway, that does it for today. I'm gonna end it here, and again, plan to stream live next week. Same as always. Welcome to tune in. I appreciate every one of you, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And God bless.